Hello students, welcome back to Daily Chronicles by Abhiram Ias. So today let's discuss the most important topics from the different papers, that is Hindu, Indian Express and PIB. So the important topics I've selected today are, it is about El Nino and Western Ghats, and also an important wildlife sanctuary which is in news, that is Karimpunza, and also about e-invoicing, which is a new initiative for the GST bills, and also let's discuss about the Cartosat 3 and also about the Arctic and Arctic Council. Okay, chalo, let's start. Now, the first topic is about the El Nino. Now, why this is in news? Because IMD is telling that summer set to be warmer, as we can see now, the temperatures have been increased, and also, but it is telling that El Nino unlikely during the next monsoon. Now, what is this El Nino and how it is related to the monsoons? Let's see this. Okay. Now, what is IMD telling is that, so basically El Nino is ruled out, the possibility of El Nino is ruled out. Now, what is this El Nino? So, basically this El Nino is characterized by a warming of central equatorial Pacific Ocean. Remember, central. Warming of central Pacific Ocean, right? Now, let's see how this is impacting the monsoon in India. And also, if we see in 2023, which is an El Nino year, India have been seeing 6% of deficit in the rainfalls in the monsoon. But coming to last year, that is 2024, there was an 8% surplus rainfall. Okay, because that was a not El Nino year and it was a neutral year. Now, let's see what does an El Nino means. Now, what is this El Nino? As we saw, this is a global phenomena which is characterized by periodic warming of sea surface temperatures, where in the central part of the Pacific Ocean, in the central and also in the eastern part. Remember, this is important. Central and eastern Pacific Ocean. Okay, central and eastern Pacific Ocean, where this El Nino, when it is coming, this increases the sea surface temperatures of those areas. And now it is part of ENSO, which is El Nino Southern Oscillation. This is basically El Nino plus Southern Oscillation, okay, which also includes La Nina. This ENSO includes La Nina, El Nino and neutral phase. Now, if we see, if you can see here, north, east, south, west. So, basically in the central and also the eastern part of Pacific Ocean, here, this part. So, basically here, it is South America here, it is South America here and it is Indonesia here. Now, what is happening? Due to this El Nino conditions, the warming is taking place in the Southern America and there is a decrease of monsoon, and in Indonesia it is causing the droughts. But whereas this is the normal season without El Nino, what is happening? Here the upwelling of winds you can see, and here it is warm currents. So, what is happening? Here increase of the monsoon and it will be cool, where in the southern part of the America. Okay, right? This is normal and this is when it is an El Nino condition. Okay, here you can see warm water is towards the not western side, but here you can see warm water is moving from western side to the eastern side. Okay, this is above the El Nino. Now, what causes does this El Nino brings? Why it is caused? Basically due to the pressure changes. What pressure changes? So, air pressure drops. See, you can see it is high, it is low, it is high pressure. What happens when it is high pressure is there? Low amount of rainfall. See, air pressure drops over the central Pacific and also in the Peru regions. Now, what happens? So, this usual low pressure system in the Western Pacific, near Indonesia and Australia is replaced by the weak high pressure system. Okay, when high pressure system is there is less amount of rainfalls, right? Again, I am telling you, remember, so air pressure is dropping over the central Pacific and also in the Peru regions. Now, what is happening? Due to this unusual low pressure system in the Western Pacific near Indonesia and Australia, it has been replaced by the high pressure systems, that is, which is related to the anticyclones. Okay, high pressure system is related to the anticyclones, right? Low pressure system is related to the cyclones. Now, it is also weakening the trade winds and also the Walker circulation. Okay, Now what is happening in this circulation is, so basically the trade winds will become slowed down or reversed, where like if it is low pressure, then it becomes high pressure, okay, weakening the Walker circulation, that is Pacific wind system. As we know the Walker circulation, what does it means? Now this is allowing warm ocean water to move eastward, to move towards the eastwards, okay, towards the east of the Pacific Ocean, accumulating in the western Pacific Ocean. Basically the warm current should be accumulated in the western Pacific Ocean, but now what does this El Nino does? It is shifting those warm currents into the eastern Pacific Ocean side. Now next, see, warm water is accumulating in the eastern of Pacific side. So what is happening? Sorry. Now what is happening? The cold Peruvian currents are replaced with warm currents. Okay. Now, as I mentioned here, cold Peruvian currents. What are the other cold Peruvian currents? Please do mention in the comments. So, other cold currents, like here, Benguela current, Canary currents, okay, Canary cold currents, okay. Those are the cold currents. Now, next, what is the impact? I have mentioned here as a value addition the impact of El Nino also, okay. Let's see the impacts of both La Nina and also El Nino. What is happening? As I said, blindly remember, El Nino is negative for India, La Nina is positive for India. El Nino doesn't bring rains and La Nina brings surplus amount of the rains, and in neutral phase also India will get surplus amounts of the rainfall. Now what is El Nino doing on the weather and climate of India? So when El Nino comes, droughts in India, Australia and Southeast Asia, floods in South America and North of America. Remember this is important, okay, remember this. So droughts in India, Australia and Southeast of Asia, whereas coming to floods in South America and of North of America. Now South America and North America. Now what is El Nino does to India? Increase monsoons in India, but floods in Southeast Asia, but coming to Atlantic, it is hurricanes. See, this is all related with cyclones or monsoons, right? La Nina, increased amount of monsoon in India, floods in Southeast Asia and hurricanes in the Atlantic, right? Now if we see its impact on agriculture, when there is less amount of rainfall, what happens? Crop yield also will be less. So crop damage due to droughts in India and Southeast of Asia. Whereas coming to La Nina, excess rainfall, so benefits the Indian agriculture, but sometimes if over monsoon happens, there is a damage to the crops. And the impact on global temperatures, well, El Nino, we can see like unusual warmness, okay, unusual warmness, that is warmer temperatures which is contributing to Arctic ice melt also. And when it is La Nina, cooler temperatures create a milder global climate change, that is it cools down the climate in global perspective. And coming to marine life, coming to El Nino, so as we saw, it is related with warmer water reduces the fish stocks, affecting the fisheries, whereas coming to La Nina, it is cooler water, right, it supports the fish growth and also the marine biodiversity. Now as a value addition, let's see the differences between El Nino and La Nina. Now what happens with the sea surface temperatures? When it is El Nino, it becomes warmer. When it is La Nina, it becomes cooler than the normal, right? Trade winds, basically the trade winds will weaken or it will exchange their positions, it becomes reverse. Whereas coming to La Nina, stronger than the usual. Rainfall in India, when it is El Nino, it is weaker monsoon and less rain. But whereas coming to La Nina, it is stronger monsoon and more rainfall. Now, what is the weather impact? Droughts, obviously. When the temperature is increased, what happens? It brings droughts to India, Australia and floods in South America and also in northern part of America. Now, coming to La Nina, it just reverse. Droughts in South America, but heavy rainfall in Australia and India. Remember this, okay? Now, global effect, we can see warmer global temperatures, but in La Nina, cooler global temperatures, right? This is with respect to the El Nino. Okay, now moving to the next topic. It is about the Western Ghats. Now, why this Western Ghats in news? Because there has been a study conducted telling that during this past 800 years, there is an increase of monsoon in the Western Ghats region. Now, so in this context, it is important to know about the Western Ghats. Now, Where this Western Ghats is located? Obviously towards the western part of the India. Right? Moving from Gujarat to the last step, that is Kerala region. Right? So basically from Gujarat to the Kanyakumari. Okay? Okay, length 1600 kilometers, but covering 6 states. Okay? Covering 6 states. That is here Maharashtra, Gujarat, starting from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and parts of Kerala also. Right? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember this? From Gujarat to Kanyakumari region, and it is continuous. Okay? It is continuous, unlike the Eastern Ghats, where Eastern Ghats is it is interrupted because flowing of rivers in middle. Now, the highest peak here is Annamudi peak, okay, Annamudi peak, and it is made up of block mountains. This is formed by the faulting, okay. Due to this faulting, block mountains are formed here. So, it is a region of block mountains, and it is located at the edge of the Deccan Plateau. And the major rocks here are basalt, granite, iron ore, and limestone. Okay, this is about the geology of the Western Ghats. Now, next, if we talk about climate and vegetation. Now, if we see, it is barrier for southwest monsoon, okay, where heavy rainfall on the western slopes, right? See, it will interrupt the southwest monsoon, okay, it will interrupt the southwest monsoon. And now, it is like in the western side, if you see, it is evergreen forest, like rosewood and mahogany are the primary species found there, and the eastern side, it is deciduous forest. Remember this. On the western side, it is evergreen forest, and on the eastern side, it is deciduous forest, where teak and sandalwood are primarily found. Okay. Next, the rivers. If we see the west flowing rivers, which is short and fast, the rivers are Periyar, Mandovi, and Sharavati rivers. If we see the east flowing rivers, which are longer, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, which are in Western Ghats, remember. So, possibility of high electric power potential, okay, Western Ghats. Now, if we see the biodiversity and wildlife, so basically this is UNESCO World Heritage Site, and also out of 8, so 1 out of 8 biodiversity hotspots. There are 8 biodiversity hotspots, so it is one among them. And if we see the species related, Nilgiri tar is found, and also lion-tailed macaw is found. And the protected areas here are Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, and also Silent Valley National Park, and also the Periyar National Park. Once again, let's see the Western Ghats region. So you can see here, Western Ghats region, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, parts of Tamil Nadu, and also Kerala, from covering the 6 states, from Gujarat to Kanyakumari. Okay. Now, as a value addition, let's see the differences between Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Now, if you see the Western Ghats, it runs along the western coast from Gujarat to Kanyakumari. But whereas coming to the Eastern Ghats, runs along the eastern coast, Odisha to Tamil Nadu. Now, what is the highest peak here? It is Annamudi peak, which is located in the Kerala, and Eastern Ghats, it is Aramkonda. We are familiar with that because it is located in the Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now, river flow. Source of western east flowing rivers like Periyar, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri. Now, next, coming to Eastern Ghats, what are the rivers associated with it? Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. We are familiar with this, right? Now, what is the climate? Heavy rainfall, which acts as monsoon barrier, but this eastern coast receives the less rainfall, right? Vegetation, because more rainfall, it is evergreen and also with deciduous forest. But comparing to Eastern Ghats is dry and moist deciduous forest. Biodiversity, as rainfall is there, it is evergreen, so obviously more diverse, and UNESCO, it is declared as UNESCO Heritage Site, and it is one among the 8 biodiversity hotspots. But whereas coming to Eastern Ghats, it is less biodiverse. Soil type, laterite, red and black soils are found, but here it is red, laterite and alluvial soils are found. Okay, remember this. This is important for exam. Please do remember this. Now, the next topic is Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, why it is in news? Because Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary adds new species to its checklist. If any wildlife sanctuary is in news, please do collect the information about it. Okay? Do not neglect this. These questions will be asked in the exam. Now, where it is located? In the Kerala state of Malappuram district, and remember it is part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. This is important, and this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve is a UNESCO World Heritage Site under Man and Biosphere Program. Okay. Now, if we see its geography and landscape, it is situated in the western slope of the Nilgiri Hills. So, it is bounded by the onto the east Murukruthi National Park, which is in Tamil Nadu, and in the south it is bordered by the Silent Valley National Park. So, in middle of these it is located. Okay, Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary is located in between of Murukruthi National Park, which is in Tamil Nadu. So, Murukruthi National Park is in Tamil Nadu, remember this, and to south of this it is bordered by the Silent Valley National Park. Where it is Silent Valley? In Kerala. Okay, remember this. Now, what are the water sources? There is a Karimpunza river, which is a tributary of Chelliar river. Okay, this is important for the exam. So, it is located in the Kerala state of Malappuram district, and it is a part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, this Nilgiri, what is the significance of this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve? It is a UNESCO heritage site under Man and Biosphere Program, and it is situated on the western slopes of the Nilgiri Hills, where the borders are. Onto the east you can see the Murukruthi National Park, which is in Tamil Nadu, and Silent Valley National Park, which is in Kerala. Okay. Coming to the birds in Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary, I have said recently there have been new species added. Okay, new species added. Let's see some of these species. What are they? So, birds. So, some of the new additions with respect to birds are Eurasian sparrowhawk, white-trumped vulture, blue-eared kingfisher, broad-tailed grassbirds, and also savanna nightjar. Coming to the butterflies, the new additions are snuff double-banded Judy butterfly, painted courtesan butterfly, silver-streaked acacia blue butterfly, and Sinhalese firing butterfly. Okay, they are associated with the new additions in this Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. Now, as a value addition, let's see what are the other wildlife sanctuaries located in the Kerala region. Okay, Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, Silent Valley National Park, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, Nanda Devi Wildlife Sanctuary, and also Idukudi Wildlife Sanctuary, Parambikulam Wildlife Sanctuary, Chilika Wildlife Sanctuary, Karimpunza Wildlife Sanctuary, and also Azhikode Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, you can see this in Kerala. So, Silent Valley, Wayanad, Idukki, Annamudai Peak, Iravikulam, Periyar River, Papara is also important wildlife sanctuary, and Nayyar. Okay, these are the important places associated with Kerala. When there is a wildlife sanctuary in news, you need to also remember the other places in that particular state. Okay, chalo, next. Next is about e-invoicing. This is a new initiative brought for GST bills. Why it is in news? Because from April 1st, 2025, that is from today, business houses must comply with new rules on GST invoices, and it becomes mandatory to upload these invoices. Invoices are nothing but, in short, the bills, within 30 days from the date of the document. Okay. Now, what is this invoicing basically? So, they are the business to business transaction bills. Okay. So, it involves reporting of business to business and export invoices issued by taxpayers to their customers on invoice portal and getting a unique invoice reference number. Let's see why this initiative has been brought, but let's see the basics about it. So, what is the genesis of invoicing? So, basically this e-invoice was introduced in India in October 2020 itself for taxpayers with annual aggregate turnover of more than 500 crores. Now, what happened? Later in 2021 of January, the system was extended to taxpayers with annual aggregate turnover of 100 to 500 crores. Now, next. Now, what it is telling, this e-invoicing should be generated within 30 days and should be submitted. Okay. Now, mandatory two-step process, two verification step process. So two-factor authentication for e-invoice and e-way bill generation. Now what are the document types you have to submit? So the new rule or restriction would be applicable for all types of documents that need IRN validation. So it includes invoices, credit notes, or also debit notes. Okay. Okay, that's the important things here. Now let's see, why is this invoicing? Basically, invoice is nothing but the bill you are generating. Now, for suppose if we go to the restaurants or any shops, you will see the invoicing, that is the bill generated. Okay. Now that you have to, the business transaction, the business people has to submit, the industries has to submit. So it is a business to business transaction receipt. Now why this is introduced? To basically reduce the tax evasion and fraud. Okay, before this, let me tell an example. Now see, I have written this due to reduce the time waste. So an example is, I am a manufacturer, okay, some ABC Limited. Now I am giving an invoice to XYZ Limited, who is a retailer, okay. Now what it does, now basically I will purchase 50,000 laptop, okay. The GST generated on it is 9,000. Now what this ABC Limited does is, they create an GST invoice registration portal. They will be in GST invoice registration portal, they will create invoice reference number and also QR code. When this receipt is been given, they will this invoice registration portal will create an invoice reference number and a QR code. Now what does the retailer does? So he will put this QR or the IRN, that is invoice reference number, in for GST returns or filing of the income tax. Okay, that is where this e-invoicing comes into the picture. I'll tell you clearly again. See, basically there is a manufacturer and retailer. Manufacturer buys an retailer buys a 50,000 laptop with GST of 9,000. Now what simply this retailer does, he will keep that invoice in the GST invoice portal registration, where this portal gives a invoice reference number and also gives a QR code. Now what will the retailer does? Simply he with that QR code generation, he can file the GST returns or tax filings. Now it is becoming very transparent in nature. So that is why it is significant. So it is reducing the frauds and tax evasion also. Now it is simple because it is digitalized, right? There is no manual work, right? When digitalized, it is transparent. It is also improving the data accuracy and also exchange efficiency, better business monitoring and standardization of invoices and also future proofing, right? So this sets the stage for more digitally advanced tax system, paving the way for the introduction of new technologies like blockchain technology and also artificial intelligence in the future, right? This is about the e-invoicing. Now, let's see the advantages of this, as it is reducing the fraud and also tax evasion. So, automation, there is no manual work, it is completely digitalized. So, GST returns and e-way bills are auto-populated and also reduces the disparities. Now, what it is doing? So, all documents are digitally stored, right? Improves the efficiency, fraud prevention and interoperability, like seamless transition between the portals due to standardized formats. This is all about the e-invoicing. It is nothing but a bill. I am generating a bill which is I will keep in the portal, GST portal, and it will give a QR code. I will it will also give a reference number, and I will take the QR code and I will file the GST returns or tax returns. Okay. Now, next is about Cartosat 3. Now, why it is in news? Because recently we saw the earthquakes in Myanmar, right? So, recently this ISRO's Cartosat 3 images showed damages caused by the earthquake in Myanmar. Now, in this context, let's talk about the Cartosat 3. Basically, Cartosats are Earth imaginary satellites. So, this, and here if you see the third number, it is third generation advanced Earth observatory satellite launched with the vehicle PSLV C-43. PSLV, what is here PSLV? Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Okay, what are the key features for this? Ground resolution of 25 centimeters. So, sharpest for civil remote sensing satellites, and it can also detect the objects which are in small size up to 25 centimeters from 500 kilometer area also. Okay, so it is a private company Worldview 3 has a resolution of 31 centimeters, whereas US private company Worldview 3 has a resolution of only 31 centimeters. Okay. Now, what are the technologies included here? Basically, it is having high angle camera. It can capture from very distances, and also high speed data transmission, and also advanced computer systems. Basically, these cartosats are related with the Earth observatory satellites. Done? Now, let's see the applications, what it does. Defense and security, it is used in defense and security, mapping and cartography, because as it is cartosat is for mapping, precise mapping activities and urban and rural infrastructure planning, and also coastal management, coastal land use and also regulation, utility management, and also disaster management and land use mapping. Basically, it is a Earth imaginary satellite. Now, the next article and the last article is about Arctic and Arctic Council. Now, why this is in news? As the temperatures are increasing, what is happening in the Arctic Ocean? Arctic regions, polar ices are decreasing. I mean, they are becoming water. Ice is converting into water. Now, okay, let's see the issue. So, international observers have raised concerns about escalating tensions in Arctic, warning that if left unchecked, they could eventually spark the conflict in the region. And what is happening? Basically, the Arctic, the northernmost area of the planet, has remained largely isolated for centuries, we know that. But however, as climate change accelerates, the melting of ice caps is taking place. So basically, melting of ice caps is taking place. This is the issue now. So in this context, let's see about the Arctic. This article is important. If you are having paper, please do read this and make some notes. Now, where is Arctic located? It is the northernmost part of the Earth, okay, largely isolated for centuries, which is covered with ice. Now, what is the climate change impact? Melting of ice caps, and this is also opening for new strategy opportunities. And if we see the resources, what are the resources available? Fossil fuel is available, oil and natural gas, minerals, rare earth minerals are found, and copper and phosphates are also found. Fishing grounds, yes, fishes are found adequately. Trade routes are, melting ice is opening new shipping routes like the Northeast Passage, reducing the maritime distances. Now, this is not necessary, but you have to remember the other things. About Arctic Council, they may be asked on the exam, or the Arctic Council regions. Now, if we see the economic and strategic interest in the Arctic region, what is happening? So, there is a resource and extraction potential. If we see, oil and gas reserves are found adequately. So, 13% of the world's undiscovered oil is found, 30% of world's untapped natural gas is found, and most resources lie beneath the Arctic seabed, making the territorial claims very crucial. So, almost 13% of world's undiscovered oil and 30% of world's untapped natural gas is also found. And there are also rare earth metals found like copper and phosphates also we saw in Greenland. Okay. So, among the world's richest rare earth metal deposits are found, and also critical minerals are also being found. And so, Chinese investment is attracted in the year early 2020s, and the projects halted due to environmental concerns and US political pressure. Now, next. You can see impact of melting ice on trade routes. Maritime routes are being opening. So, melting ice opens shorter maritime paths for global trade, and also Northeast Passage, that is Russia's Arctic coast, where the route is from Bering Strait to Norway. What is the significance? It reduces the East Asia Europe shipping distance by 8,000 kilometers. Again, I am telling you. So, the route is being created from Bering Strait to Norway. What is the significance of this? It is reducing East Asia to Europe shipping distance by 8,000 kilometers. And what is the China's interest in it? So, basically could save millions in the transport cost. What are the challenges? But it requires the Russian approval for Chinese access to Arctic ports, that is the Polar Silk Road. Now, let us see about the Arctic Council. Okay. Let us see about the Arctic Council. So, it is established in the year 1996 in Ottawa Declaration. By Ottawa Declaration, what is the objective? To promote the cooperation, environmental protection, sustainability development and scientific research in the Arctic region. Now, who are the member countries? Canada, Denmark, Finland, Ireland, Norway, Russia, Sweden and United States. Here you can see Russia, US, Canada, Greenland, Ireland, Norway, Finland, Sweden. So 8 countries. Right? These are the 8 countries of Arctic Council. Remember this is important for the exam. And also, who are the observer states? India is an observer state, China, UK, Germany, Japan, South Korea. Now, what does it do? It can participate in discussions, but there is no voting right. Okay, this is important, remember. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow.